These are going to be thin. You want a thin layer of brownie just as the base. Make sure it's spread out to all the edges, because we're going to be topping this with a dark chocolate mousse, a milk chocolate mousse, a white chocolate mousse, chocolate ganache. All right, I'm going to get this into the oven, and we'll be back shortly doing some ganache. Okay, while your brownies bake, what we're going to do is we're going to make ganache. We're going to be using 3 different ganaches to make mousse. This is a dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and white chocolate layered mousse that is going to go on top of the brownie once it cools. And then it will be covered with ganache. And the sides will be pressed with mini chocolate chips. So what I'm doing is I am chopping 12 ounces of currently dark chocolate candy. I'm also going to be doing 12 ounces of milk chocolate and 12 ounces of white chocolate. We're going to be adding that to 1/3 cup heavy whipping cream. And then we're going to be microwaving it in 30-second intervals and stirring in between microwave sessions. You want to do this until it's completely melted and it will be smooth and shiny. So I'm going to finish chopping and get it in the cream and start microwaving. And once that is done, I will come back and I'll show you how it's supposed to look. Okay, so this one actually took 1 minute and 20 seconds or so. And as you can see, everything is completely melted and blended together, and it's smooth and shiny. So what we're going to do now, because it is kind of warm, is we're going to let this come to room temperature, and it will get a little bit more solid, not a lot. We're going to let this come to room temperature. And while we do that, I'm going to get the brownie out of the oven and do one more batch of the dark chocolate for the topping, and a batch of white and a batch of milk chocolate, and get those cooling to room temperature. Next time I'm back, we'll be making mousse. Okay, so the brownie is out of the oven and it is piping hot. I have snapped the ring. I'm going to take the outer ring off and peel these side pieces off. And then we are going to set this to the side and let it cool so that we can top it with layers of mousse. Okay, so I'm back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to proceed to make the mousse. And I'm going to explain how it's going to be done, but I'm actually going to be doing the mixing off camera because my mixer is incredibly loud. So what we're going to do is we have 2 1/4 cups of heavy whipping cream, and it's very cold. And we are going to gradually introduce 1 batch of dark chocolate ganache. This is cooled to room temperature. It's still soft, very soft and spreadable, still very smooth. And we are going to whip this until it is a mousse consistency using the handy dandy mixer, because let's face it, that's a whole lot of whipping to do with a whisk. And I am not a celebrity chef. So I will be back to show you the result, and we'll put the first layer in. Okay, I'm feeling like this is a pretty good moussey texture. It's holding its shape really well. So I think we're ready to put this first layer on the brownie. Okay, so here's our mousse. I have returned the brownie to the pan. It is cooled, by the way. I put a very thin layer of just dark chocolate ganache on it. And I have put some parchment back in around the edges because we want to be able to get this out pretty easily. And I'm going to proceed to put in a layer of the dark chocolate. It doesn't look dark, but I did taste it, and it does taste dark. And then I'm just going to use an offset spatula to smooth it out to the edges. Want to make sure you get all the way out to the edge. And a nice level layer. I found a great way to get a good smooth top is to hold your spatula in one place and rotate the pan. Okay, now we're going to refrigerate this for half an hour, and then we'll top it with a layer of milk chocolate and then a layer of white chocolate. Okay, I'm back with the final layer. I've put a dark chocolate and a milk, there's a brownie, a dark chocolate, and a milk chocolate. This is the final mousse layer. This is white chocolate, and felt like it needed something, so I actually added a vanilla bean. The inside of a split a vanilla bean and scraped all of it out. And I think it was just what it needed. So this is the white chocolate layer, or in this case, the white chocolate vanilla bean layer. And we're just going to skip it all on there, and then I'll spread it out. Then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to start in the center just like I did the other two, and I'm going to work my way to the edge. And you want to go all the way to the edge, because when we take the paper off, it's going to be a nice, crisp, clean edge. And then we're going to coat that edge first with a very thin layer of ganache, just dark chocolate ganache. And then we are going to press mini chocolate chips into it. So that's why I keep stressing, go all the way to the edge. Make sure you seal your edge so that you get a nice, clean, straight edge. Okay, and we are back with the final push. I have had this chilling in the fridge for about 3 hours. So I'm going to pop it out, pop the ring off, and peel off the parchment paper that we put around the sides. And then I'm going to, I have a 10-inch cake circle. You can get these at Walmart or craft stores. They're about $3 for a package of 8 or 10 of them, I think. It's great for transporting. I have covered the edges with wax paper. Just helps a little bit with cleanup. So now I'm going to attempt to slide this off of the bottom of the form and onto the cake circle. All right. Slide this back under. Get it pretty much centered here, or as centered as I can. Okay, so I have the last batch of dark chocolate ganache, and it is room temperature. So we are going to cover the top and a bit down onto the sides with this chocolate ganache, dark chocolate ganache. Grab my offset spatula here. And I'm just going to slowly work it around. I want the entire top completely covered. And I want to roll it down onto the sides a little bit. although the sides are going to be hidden shortly. But I do want to make sure that we get it all the way out to the edges. And then if it naturally drips down, that's okay. And if not, we'll push it down just a little bit, just to kind of fold over the top and seal it up a bit. Okay. Now, pretty happy with the way that looks. It could be smoother, but I'm going to put a design in the top of it momentarily, so it doesn't matter too much. Get it as smooth as I can here. As level as I can, I should say. Okay. I think I'm gonna be happy with that. Now, I have a part of a batch of the white chocolate ganache that I saved. Slide this back. And I have a coffee cup lined with a zippy bag. And I am just going to put that white chocolate in there. I have piping bags, but I couldn't find them, so I don't do a lot of decorative stuff, except at the holidays, which are coming up, so I guess I'll spend a day searching. All right. So I'm just going to twist this up, grab a pair of scissors, and I'm going to snip just the very, very tip. That lets me get a good drizzle. Pull this back over. And what I'm going for here is spiral. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because, like I said, we're going to put a design into it. I'm obviously not very steady tonight, but it is about an hour past my bedtime. Now, to put the design in, I'm going to grab a skewer. I'm going to start from the outside in, and I'm going to drag. And drag. I'm going to do 8 in. And I am just barely dragging right along the top. And now I'm going to go between them out. So in the middle of each one, I'm going to drag outward. And I will say this is not the best decorating that I've ever done, but I think it will serve the purpose. So there's the top, all happy and decorated. And I have a big drip going on the side over here, so I'm going to smooth that around just a little bit. Okay, so when it hit the cold mousse, the ganache started to harden, and it will continue to harden. Now, the way we're going to finish this out is, and this is the reason for the wax paper, we're going to take mini chocolate chips, the little ones, teeny tiny, and we are going to press them into the sides, all the way around. I want to try to get it all the way up to the top, right along that top edge. Right? I'm going to finish this and I will clean up and I will be back shortly to show you the final product. Okay, so here is the finished cake. This is my version of a black tie mousse cake from the Olive Garden. It has a thin brownie layer, just plain brownie, no additions, a dark chocolate mousse, a milk chocolate mousse, a white chocolate mousse, a dark chocolate ganache, and then it is crusted with mini chocolate chips. And what I have done is I've pulled out all the wax paper and cleaned up. I sat it on my 10-inch springform ring or pan, and what I'm going to do is put the ring on to transport it. This is actually a birthday cake for one of my coworkers. This is his favorite cake, so he did request it. So I did attempt to make it. I hope he'll be happy with it. I will say that this cake weighs about 6 pounds, and about 5 pounds of that is chocolate.